Thanks everyone for joining. This is Satya. Um, I have a background in IT, software engineering. I'm an IT architect, primarily focuses on AI and analytics. Couple of years back in 2023, I decided to have optionality in my income. So I started investing into real estate, primarily around multifamily apartments. Um, which by doing that I realized the value of commercial business and how the valuation were compared to residential real estate. And while doing that and understood the commercial valuation of any business, I got attracted to home services. We'll go through that. Why home services? We bought the plumbing business last year, and so it's been a year now. And this year, since I am always inclined to real estate and home services business, so this year we bought a boutique hotel to have that real estate backed business, but the active nature. So I do both rental real estate through multifamily as well as boutique hotel, because those are the hard assets that appreciate over time while continue to uh, build, expand on home services business and specifically on plumbing. Okay, so why plumbing, right? If you think about the home services as an industry, it's a pretty simple business, right? So I think if you think an idea of which business is good to start, I would say the best business that you can start is the business that you can understand. So if you can understand the business model and if you can understand the customer journey in that business model, you can make that business successful, right? Definitely you will do a market study, you will understand the demand, you understand the competition, that will come at the end. But if to start with, if you don't understand the business model itself, then you won't be successful, right? So that was one of the reason I selected plumbing out of home services business. Like if I compare home services business, you have plumbing, you have HVAC, which is AC, right? You have electrical, you have landscaping, you have pest control. These are all home services business, and plumbing is kind of an essential business, right? So when we have plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, these are all essential repair-based business. And so if I'll quickly scan through, if you see, um, silver tsunami of opportunities. Why it is like that? Because this kind of business are owned by baby boomers. 55% of those baby boomers are retiring. So 55% of those baby boomers are retiring over next 10 years. So there are a lot more opportunities for new generation entrepreneurs to come here and bridge that gap. But the idea is most of these baby boomers do not have a succession plan, right? Because their children don't want to take this legacy because they see the way their parents have worked to build this business. And I would say 20 years prior till now, how the business were operated is completely different than the next 20 years would look like. New generation entrepreneurs with the help of AI is going to disrupt this kind of business where we call this as a boring business, right? It's boring from outside, and but you can do a lot more automation things to make it really stand out in any of the industries, right? Recession proof business, like everyone says that AI is going to take down the job in next 10 to 20 years. There would be a lot more job replacement will happen through AI, but the kind of business that plumbing or HVAC or electrical is, you still need somebody to go and fix the problem, right? The technology will get advanced take a lot longer to have robots and other things to go and fix it. Or the complete infrastructure of your housing will change, like the plumbing system, it might have robots go and fix it, right? But at least next 10 to 20 years, you still have plumbers required to complete this job, no matter what the market condition is, right? So those are the two big items for me, was clearly gravitated to a repair based home service business, right? lot more opportunities because baby boomers are retiring, so you can negotiate lot better deals with them, which would be win-win for both of the buyer as well as seller. Recession proof, that means you are getting into a business which is going to withstand all the market downturns, because every would really need a plumber, right? And um, and the first one was a very simple model. Like, if I can understand how plumbing business work, right, there is no complication at all in the process. Superior cash flow. Any repair business or any service business, there is not a long period of AR, account receivables, right? If you go for a retail business that you have to manage inventory, you have to stock it up so that, and you expect the demand to be increasing, you won't be paying. You will be sitting on the inventory without cash. But repair business, where you go repair the, like, perform the repair, collect the money on the same time. Most of the cases where you need to purchase materials, you can collect the money upfront, so that you are not buying and then waiting for this to be paid. You are basically paid on the job, or you are prepaid on the maximum portion of the material, right? So these ones, it's very simple, uh, high cash flow, because you are not waiting, or you are not working on the debit. And the third one is, you basically, I think the bigger one is high barrier to entry. That was one of the things that I felt like you really need as an entrepreneur. You need to have risk appetite, that you understand the business model, you do see the opportunities, and then the next question is, can you take that risk that nobody else is willing to take, right? And it's basically, that's the characteristic of any entrepreneur to be successful, right? High barrier to entry is one that significantly underplay this business to an entrepreneur who doesn't understand what needs to be done to make it happen, right? If somebody seeing outside, and my friends, my real estate investor friends, my IT friends, everyone never thought that I will be buying a plumbing business, right? So they still feel shocked that I bought a plumbing business last year. But because of the licensing requirement, handling plumbers, and understanding everything's lot more competitions, so there is a risk. But if you understand that risk and you have a good awareness of your competition, you can make it work. So I just wanted to call that out. I feel good if there is a high barrier to entry and you have that key to identify the opportunities and still buy and operate a profitable repair, home service repair business, you will be successful. So I think then I'm just moving to the next one, plan versus pivot. This is really good, because when you work on a job, we have a business plan. You work towards the business plan. Eventually, you decide to pivot a little bit, but when you are job, you are pretty much stick to a plan, right? At least for a year or two. Like we typically do a 2-year planning or 5-year planning. We started exactly the same way. This business, the expectation was so this was a franchise business. Why did I pick franchise? To be honest, if somebody asks me the difference between franchise versus independent business, definitely you are not paying any franchise fees or royalty to the franchisor, but you are getting a support system. Where independent business, you don't get a support system, right? You have to figure it out all your own. So that's the trade-off you will do. And when you are starting new, you don't have any background in plumbing, it's very difficult to go through a lending process with SBA. So SBA loan would be very difficult, right? So that was the reason we went with a franchise, bought the first territory, went through the SBA lending process. It was very interesting. We can talk in details on a separate call how that SBA process worked out for us. Then we planned for a 2-year slow growth, because we were new to the plumbing. We were still understanding how to grow in the market, how to do the marketing, understand the competition, understand the customer, right? But we immediately realized service business, most importantly, the repair business, which is more of an essential business, the reviews, the reputation is matters a lot, right? Because if there is a plumbing issue, you don't wait for a referral from your friends. Maybe landscaping, painting, pest control, you might look for referrals. But if there is a plumbing issue, you will go to internet and start searching. And whoever comes up in first three in the list, you start calling them. With a new business, no reviews and ratings in the system, it's very difficult to scale and compete with other companies in the market. So that's the reason we immediately started the mindset from 0 to 1 to 1 to n. And so within a month, we were able to expand to 2 new territories in that same market, and it helped a lot. And it's not like that we paid a premium to buy those businesses. Rather, we negotiated a lot. We leveraged our real estate expertise. How you find off-market deals? We used all those techniques to find these businesses. And honestly, when we started looking for these businesses, we never thought of buying those. We just reached out to the owners to build relationship, to ask for help from them because they were doing it from last 10-20 years. We are just say, hey, we are your neighbor, we just opened up the shop, and can you help us in hiring, can you help us in marketing, can you help us in inventory management, all these things, right? And while discussing this for quite some time, they said that the business doesn't do well for them, can we buy them out? And that was the moment we realized that whatever you see from outside, that may not be true, right? So whenever say it's a profitable business, but at the end the operation matters, right? So we are able to close that, and I'm telling you, we are able to buy these additional territories with 70 to 80% discount. Let me say that again, 70 to 80% discount. And that's not going to happen when you are searching for this particular business opportunities online or through broker, right? Because that's already available to everyone. There's a lot more competition. So you need to build relationship. You need to look for opportunities even you are not ready to buy. So those skills you need to develop if your goal is to acquire either real estate, acquire properties, or businesses that you want to roll up and make it a big one, right? I can quickly answer some of these questions. Within a month you bought another plumbing shop. Yes, so it is from the same franchise, and no, I would say not even a month. So identifying the location to closing the first shop, it took 6 months going through the SBA lending process. Within the 6 months, we started building relationship with other franchise owners in that area, in the neighborhood, because they would definitely help you. When we reached to that mark of 6, before we bought our first plumbing territory, we were already put an offer and put under contract the other 2 territories. So technically we were not open yet, but we were able to buy 3 territories within 6-month time frame, right? So that experience of buying was really good because you had to go through a lot more hoops within franchisors because they thought that we are not ready to expand because we didn't have any experience. So we had to come up with our business plan, we had to come up with our liquidity, we had to come up with our relationship to show our credibility, because it's a brand, right? It's a franchise brand. They did not want to jeopardize that franchise brand. So we had to prove our credibility that we can manage and operate. And eventually it worked out for us because now we have a single operation of same set of employees covering a bigger territories, right? So I think that's the power of scaling by acquisition. So if you remember the quote, right? 90% of startups fail. No matter if it is an AI startup, IT startup, right, marketing, or even home services. 90% of startups fail in first 1 to 2 years. Acquiring small businesses in the similar market and then rolling it up, you can increase the value tenfold. Quick example, like if you're operating a $1 million business with 100,000 EBITDA, if you can make that $1 million to 5 million, either expanding, which will take longer time, but acquiring, which you can do a lot more faster, your EBITDA is not going to be just 5x. It's not going to be 1x to 5x or 500, right? It might hit a million because your operational efficiency will be so high that you can cut down all your fixed cost, right? At the end, when you decide to exit, your valuation would be a lot better with a higher multiple. If a $1 million revenue, if you want to sell on a $3 million valuation, if it is a $5 million revenue, you would be able to sell it in a $10 million valuation, right? So the game completely changes when you acquire similar businesses. You roll it up and you exit out. So I would always say, if your goal is to acquire more businesses so that I think you can step back from day to day and you have your middle managers handle it, always start with end in mind. Even if you don't want to exit out, even if you don't want to sell, you always need to have an optionality. You always need to make sure that your exit is well defined. Then you set up your plan from 5-year to yearly to quarterly to monthly, weekly, right? Once you do those things, eventually you have a clear vision to achieve whatever goal you want to do, right? So I think I'll just end here. Whatever we plan to do in first 2 years to serve 200,000 customers, our revenue goal was $500,000 for 2 years because we wanted to grow slowly. If we would have stayed, we could have shut down our business. It's very difficult to continue to spend in marketing, in vehicles, employees, license, and so many things. We reinvested a lot with expanding. Now we just had our 1-year anniversary in September. We were able to, we're now, I would say, serve more than 1 million customers. So from 200,000 to million customer, we are going to hit 1.5 million revenue, hopefully end of this year. But eventually our goal is to do it at 3 to 5 million in next 3 to 5 years, right? And without not increasing too much on our operational overhead. So that's our goal. We have a plan, but again, all this was never thought. I never thought that I am going to buy a plumbing business when I really started diving into real estate, right? But I would say one thing, your network is your net worth. When you surround yourself with right-minded people or the people doing higher level things that you aspire to be, you will ask them tough questions, right? And definitely you will have people who will really help you, guide you, provide mentorship so that you become successful too, right? I think that you will quickly realize when you become part of a community or group that your mindset matches. You will spend time like it becomes your family, right? Automatically your mindset and everything will completely change, and whatever you feel like that's scary, you will find opportunity to buy and make it profitable, right? So that's what happened to me. I technically doesn't mean that all these businesses are growing great. We have issues, we have slowdown in calls, but we know how to work around that. We know whom to reach out and ask for guidance, right? So this is a business that every work or every day would be a hard work. Initial 3 to 5 years, definitely everyone has to put work in job, in business. That's the expectation, right? But the idea is through this business ownership and acquisition, you are not just stuck to the job that for till you turn 65, but you can decide your terms. You can decide when to retire, and hopefully you don't work for money. But if you like your job, you see value, you continue to do that. But this gives you a lot more satisfaction because you are creating jobs and you are serving customers, right? So